all the work that I did on the intro and it's going to end early on me? Oh, that's not fair. All right. Well, I'll post it on Twitter later. Not the way we drew up the beginning, but you know what? Like a Josh Allen scrambling in the backfield, we're going to make it work here. Welcome into the Folding Roundtable. It is a brand new podcast with Buffalo FAMBase, Trainwreck Sports, all the local podcasters, media guys, mainly made by Bills Mafia for Bills Mafia. So we want to get comments from you guys. We want just, let's get hyped up. This is probably, we said last year, it's like, the most anticipated season in Bills franchise history. Well, we're saying that for 2 years in a row. So we got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about tonight. But first, I'll introduce you guys to the panel. I'm Wake Hawkins from Trainwreck Sports, Crowd's podcast. To my right, one of my co-hosts, been doing Trainwreck Sports with him for 2 years now. Demi Lovato finally got me to figure out how to say his name correctly. Sorry, it's not Massare, it's Kevin Massare. That's right, coming to us from the mysterious land of Brockport, New York. To his right, the Dart Daddy himself. We're not on an African safari, but we got a MereKat at the table. In the second row on the left, man, yeah, I know. These jokes are bad. They're going to keep coming. I like to refer to this one as the godmother of Bills Mafia. What's that in the sky? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a Robyn Mundy, editor-in-chief, Buffalo FAMBase, of course. In the middle there, man needs no introduction. In 26 shirts, Bills Mafia founder, co-founder, Del Reed. Thank you for being here. Rounding out the Trainwreck crew here. Man, like he's one of the reasons I got involved with Trainwreck in the beginning. So I owe a lot to him. Maniac, right there on the bottom or second row on the right. And then middle down there. This guy's become a bit of a mentor to me, so I'm not going to joke around with him at all. Muki Hawkins, Power 96.5 FM, WUFO, AM as well. Guys, thank you all for being here. I know we got great hour. We got Ruben Brown, obviously, joining us at the 8:30 mark. But first, there's been a lot. Yeah, Del's the GOAT. We know. You know what? Del is the GOAT. Let's turn it over to Del right now. Del, I know this is a Bills Mafia Buffalo FAMBase podcast right now with Trainwreck Sports. The whole crew. Introduce. Do you have any beginning words of wisdom for our viewers right now?
I don't know about words of wisdom, but thank you, John, for that little comment. I don't know about a goat, but thank you for that compliment. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really cool. We've been doing, Bills Mafia. Like this is 2011, so it's been 10 years. And maybe, Buffalo FAMBase, which is what the Bills Mafia movement grew into with the originators and everything. Right on time. Only took 10 years. Now we have a podcast. So obviously teaming up with Trainwreck on this is a no-brainer. You guys put out awesome content, so much content. You guys are everywhere. You really set the bar. And Robyn heading this up is also a no-brainer. She's been doing an amazing job on the Buffalo FAMBase blog for 5 or 6 years now, Robyn? Like it's insane. So
it's insane.
You're crushing it. You're crushing it. You're doing an amazing job. It's only natural that you move into this format as well and just showcase your passion and your love and your knowledge and wisdom. You're the one that has the wisdom. Thank you for the compliment, Wake. But Robyn's got some wisdom to share for sure. But just really excited, for that. The Buffalo FAMBase blog is now able to actually be live and talk to people and stuff. So I'll quit babbling, but it's just really cool. I'm really excited for this new podcast, and I know that you guys are going to crush it.
Appreciate that, Del. In case you guys don't know, we've been saying it, since we started publicizing it. It's going to be a new lineup every single week, so you may not see us 7 together again for the rest of the regular season, maybe into the postseason. So that's why we're going to make the most of it tonight. And I wanted to start tonight talking about the wide receivers in Bills training camp right now. Obviously, they get a lot of attention. MereKat's Isaiah Hodgins, I know I'm sorry about the injury. Looks like some guys might be climbing up the depth chart on him. But it seems like to me we're in this season right now with an MVP quarterback, and we're acting shocked that wide receivers are playing so well in training camp, which I don't know why particularly. We talk about Zay Jones, John Brown, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, all having career years when they start playing with Josh Allen. Muki, I'm going to start with you here. Do you think that maybe, these Lance Lenoir, Jake Kumerows, all these guys, Tanner Gentry's having a good camp. Could that just be a product of the quarterback throwing to them?
Well, it could be, and it could be, the Bills are always looking for quality depth, and this is probably one of the deepest rosters of, the McDermott era, so when you look at that dynamic and, those wide receivers from top to bottom are all making plays out there. Even, Marquez Stevenson towards the end of the game, it didn't seem like he was polished a little bit or he was flashing, but, that last drive, that was a big catch. So, big time players make big time, catches and big time plays, and he flashed there. So, and he's the last man on the depth chart, and that catch right there pretty much put the Bills in winning position. So it's a very deep room. We ain't even talking about Jake Kumerow and the things that he's doing out there in training camp. Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley, obviously, and Stephon Diggs. So it's very exciting to see. Even all the way down to Duke Wim, who we haven't even talked about in an entire year.
Right?
For real.
Really deep, and that's, that's one of the things I can't wait to see, this Saturday.
Yeah, obviously a lot to look forward to this Saturday, but we're going to stick with the wide receivers for right now. Robyn, you had an article that I think you wrote for the FAMBase about how resilience is permeating, the word you used, the entire Bills roster. That goes through the receivers and Jake Fromm as well. They're like, just talk about, I don't want to give away the entire article because it was great and people should go read it in their own right, but talk about that and how that, if you saw anything from the wide receivers there.
Well, as far as this training camp goes, what a difference. I've been to probably 3 or 4 training camps, and I've never seen a wide receiver group like this one. And how far have we come since, Robert Foster, and we've really come a long way.
Kelvin Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin. Oh, no kidding.
Never forget that Kelvin Benjamin didn't want to warm up with Josh Allen one game.
Yeah, come on.
That's right. He said no. He turned his QB1 down. Not like him.
No, Sean McCoy would never.
No. I think that probably the biggest question is going to be, do we keep 7?
Yeah. And I know I've heard Kevin's opinion on that. I've heard MereKat's opinion on that plenty, obviously, on the Crowd Assist podcast. So, Robyn, what do you think?
I think we should.
Yeah,
I do, because I think this is a passing offense. I don't think it's going to be that much different. Maybe they'll change a few wrinkles here and there, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot different in terms of running to passing. And we know that these guys get banged up during the season, and these guys they're all pretty good. I don't know who are you going to cut?
Del, who are we gonna cut?
It's crazy, dude. You look at that receiver room, like it's just it's so weird. Like it's been said on the radio a bunch of times, but I'll repeat it. Like Bills fans, we're not used to cutting dudes that can literally start for other teams. Like, and that's what's going to happen this year. And Bills Mafia is going to have to just come to grips with the fact that you're going to see players leave this training camp, leave this team, and perform elsewhere. And you're going to see it on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. It's going to be in your face, but that's just the cost of having a good team, is you got to let good players go. So instead of having, to these, convincing ourselves that that I'm not going to pick on any specific former player, but like Joe Blow has a great opportunity to really make some noise in the league this year. If he just if he can just get enough, passes thrown his way or whatever, it's I don't know. It's exciting. Yeah. Hey, it's my wife. Hey, what's up, Chrissy? She says keep 7.
Keep 7 from Facebook. Let's go.
Right?
Top 6. You got Emmanuel.
So I don't know.
Diggs,
but yeah.
Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, Kumerow, Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
So after that 6, you got Hodgkins, you got Duke Williams, Brandon Powell, Tanner Gentry, Lance Lenoir, and Marquez Stevenson. So that's like
Tanner Gentry.
More of the guys.
Yeah.
Tanner Gentry's a guy that I hope he sticks around, at least for the practice squad. He's tight with Josh, and the guy has hands of glue. When he played at Laramie, he would snag everything that was thrown his way.
Yeah.
I think he was drafted by Chicago.
Yeah, he was
I think
drafted
that
by
sounds right.
Yeah, by the Bears in the 4th round or something like that. And I don't know why he didn't stick there, but I was happy to see him get added to the roster.
Yeah,
Robyn, you don't have
he's
to
one
worry
of
about
the.
Mitchell didn't stick in Chicago, okay?
Yeah, Trubisky didn't stick in Chicago. It's okay if we get those guys.
Yeah.
But, Gentry's one of the guys, like, maybe you might be able to sneak him onto the practice squad. Like, we want to keep him because of that connection with Josh Allen. I mean, like, as opposed to a Hodgins, a Stevenson, who might be a little more attractive to other teams to pick up after we would cut them. Maniac, are there any in particular you're worried about losing from a Bills perspective?
No. I mean, I'm only worried about like a crazy, like it seems like Kumaro has moved into the favorite to make the team at this point. I think that, what you guys have said, you've kind of taken the cake here. I mean, this Bills team is going to thrive off passing the ball. They came out in the first half at home last year against the Ravens, playoff atmosphere, and what they do, they basically threw it the entire first half. So yeah, with you seeing guys like John Brown get beat up last year, and you saw how it affected the depth chart, it isn't crazy to keep 7. So you guys have laid the foundation. I'm just following up and agreeing with it. While I got my time, I got to beg you, Muki. Everybody knows you're cool. I know you won't say it out loud. I'm going to say it. We need you to help start building the Manny Sands brand for Emmanuel Sanders. It just sounds cool. It sounds like an exotic resort that Josh Allen can go visit. Like, oh, he's going to Manny Sands today. Like, so if we can build that, shout out to Ants. He's building that. But I need you behind that, Mook.
I got you, man. 110%. Maddie Sands. There it is.
Okay.
That's a go for the rest of the season.
That's all we needed. Kevin, I'm familiar with your take on it. You believe that it'd be tough to keep 7 receivers, right? Just based on the roster.
There's just no precedent on it. And, the Bills value roster spots elsewhere, that it's going to be a really big challenge. I think the one way that there's a potential to it is at a kick returner role, is if Marquise Stevenson can win a kick returner job like he showed he was able to on Friday. It's very possible that they could keep 7 just out of pure Kumaro can do a lot on special teams. Stevenson can be your kick returner, and now they each have a role. So it's more than just what you're going to do at that receiver position. They add a lot of dynamics to a lot of different places. And yeah, quite frankly, it's what have you done for me lately? Draft picks in the 6th round, 5th to 7th round can get claimed on the waiver wire. More likely that you claim a recent 6th round pick, someone that was just through the draft process, than someone that was, a couple of years ago, like maybe Duke Williams when, his story, or maybe you have Ethan Hodgins and his story. More than likely, Stevenson could get claimed, and the Bills need to think about that. And I think that's the worry with Fromm too. It isn't that you want to use a roster spot on Fromm. You might have to, and they might value it because Trubisky's only a 1-year plan. You've got to be thinking long term. And are they going to want to expose Jake Fromm to the to other teams? I don't think it's as quick as a quick hitter as everyone else does, with them wanting to get rid of a developmental 5th round pick who they want to be a backup quarterback to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I've said on the Crowd Assist podcast before, I think that Jake Fromm gets traded before the regular season begins if he continues to play like he did, at least at the end of the game. He didn't look great up until then, but if you when you have a backup quarterback, if he shows just any amount of that clutch gene to come alive in the 4th and win you a game, that's the kind of guy. He's a gamer. That's the kind of guy someone might want to trade for. Maybe MereKat. Odds that Jake Fromm is on the roster or in the Buffalo Bills organization come week 1.
I don't think Fromm played that great other than Stevenson. He's a guy who hasn't impressed much for them. I think they keep 2 quarterbacks this year just because of value at other roster spots. And Davis Webb probably going to be that practice squad guy. He's a great locker room guy. If someone goes down, we need to bring him up. We know he's at least capable of being the backup quarterback for this team. Just a great mind to have. So Fromm is a weird one. I can see them trying to highlight him maybe in that 2nd, 3rd preseason game a bit and, get some feelers on a trade here or there, because I don't think they'll be looking for too much for him, but he's a valuable asset for sure. I'm a 2 QB guy because we were just talking about it with the 6 or 7 receivers. I know there's no precedent for it, but I think they might keep 7 this year. Finally, we've talked about on the Crowd Assist podcast. There's just a lot of players on this team who can play a role at their position while playing a big role in special teams, like a Kumaro or somebody like that. And we saw Taiwan Jones. We speculated maybe he's the one out. He didn't even play last game because he's a lock for this roster. So with guys who can, be versatile with special teams all throughout this roster, backup positions, depth guys you already have, and this being a heavy passing attack offense, you saw what happened when some guys went down last year, and now we have Stephon Diggs with this little injury. I know it's nothing to be really concerned about, but if one of these top 3 guys go down, you do have receiver issues, I want to say, even though Allen can elevate everybody. So could this be the year they finally keep 7? I think so. I'm about like 70% they keep 7 right now.
Wow. Well, I can tell you, we are not going to keep 7. We're going to go up to 8 right now. We got our final panelist waiting in the wings here, and I'm really excited to introduce him. He in his 9 years with Buffalo, from 95 to 2003, he was Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee 3 times, 9-time Pro Bowler, went to 8 consecutive Pro Bowls from 96 to 2003. And even more ridiculous, he finished his career with a 100% catch rate, according to Pro Football Reference, amassing 1 catch on 1 target, albeit for -6 yards. That doesn't matter. It's Ruben Brown. Welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, that catch was pretty miraculous. And the more I think about it, I should have knocked it down, but we were in such a pile. I just didn't want one of the defensive linemen to get it, so I caught it and realized I was 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So sometimes in the heat of the game, you just kind of like do your job, and I see the ball in there, like let me get it down so they don't get it. And it turned out I got a -6 yard reception.
They never tried to have any design passes to you. No trick plays in the red zone. Did you ever have any drawn up?
No, they never did anything. In college, I did some. I did it. I was a fullback, and I carried the ball a few times, but nothing in the pros. They just wanted me to play left guard and do that, and that was it.
Robyn earlier said that Tanner Gentry has hands made of glue, and I don't know if they appreciated yours, Ruben, when you were in the NFL. But
Brian Young used to say my hands had glue on them because once I locked onto him, he couldn't get away. And he's like, "You got vice grips."
Speaking of not getting away, I mean, the first thing I wanted to ask you about is Greg Rousseau. Like, what would you hate the most about going up against a guy like that in the trenches?
Greg Rousseau, I just kind of look at what can he do well? What is his strength? And whenever I could identify what the strength was, I had to figure out, all right, what that means. This is what I'm the best that he's going to give me, and I'm going to have to be prepared for that. And once I break down that strength, the weaknesses will follow. But first, you identify strengths and you attack them. And I myself, my strength was just being aggressive, and I would attack every guy, regardless of who he is or how great he is. I'd jump on him just as fast as he was trying to jump on me, and stay with him and dance, and that's all you can do. Now, I'm saying something not many of the offensive linemen could do against him, but that's what they should. That's what most guys, or I would do, to try to attack him. I jump right at him and take the fight to him, opposed to sitting back and letting him get busy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, MereKat and I were really, hyping it up. I think, Muki, you joined us for a mock draft in the draft cycle. That was when the 3 of us selected Greg Rousseau at 30. Is that correct?
Muki can't hear us,
Muki?
but I'm going to speak for him.
Yeah, go for it, Ruben.
Wow, I love this. Ruben never has a problem being aggressive. I love it.
Never.
So Rousseau actually went to a university that I'm not very fond of at all. Ashmore South. But I did watch him a lot. Saw him play the Pitt Panthers, and it was a beast. Just a guy that had that length and that speed and that agility that a tad bit of Bruce Smith type skills in there. Obviously, a long way to go to even scratch the surface on that, but that's a good direction he should follow. But it's a great move for us. Our defense needed the help. We needed the pass rushers. That's the number one thing right now for any defense in the NFL. You have to have pass rushers. You got to have the guys that get after the quarterback, because what did we say? What's the percentage of passing plays in the 2000 I would say the last 5 years? It's over 75% of the time guys are passing, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's why, I feel like they really want that rotation this year. I mean, I can't speak to the numbers, but 2019, it felt like the Bills were just bringing off 4 defensive linemen and putting 4 new ones out there. Mm-hmm. I feel like with the depth they've given themselves the position with the most recent draft, I mean, you wouldn't like to see a unit that goes 6 to 8 deep on the other side, right?
Totally. It's dangerous. It's dangerous when you have, for an offensive lineman, you really want those D linemen to get out there and stay on the field, because you have a greater opportunity of actually wearing them down. Now, when they get that break and they run over to the sideline and take 2 plays off, and the offensive lineman is still on the field on a 15-play drive, and then they come back in, for the last, few of, they're fresh. So that's dangerous. And we need that danger on our defense, because last couple of years, as far as I've been watching, there's been some other successful pass rushers in our defense, but Jerry Hughes needs some help. Mm-hmm. He's getting older. He's not the young guy anymore. We're hoping that he comes with a little bit of the funk that he's had the past few years, and Greg could be the addition that you can see more explosiveness from Hughes. That could be a great combination.
Absolutely. Old and young working together, a vet and a very talented rookie. John on Facebook had a really good question, Ruben, that I think maybe you could answer better than any of us. So we'll put it back up on the screen there. With Deion Dawkins having COVID-19, losing 15 pounds, how realistic, this is something we talked about on the Crowd Assist podcast just last night. Yeah. How realistic is it that he's in good game shape by week 1? John is about to hang up and listen. Thank you.
Ooh, all right. The number one factor in that equation is, was he in shape going into camp? All right? Because if he went into camp in shape, that's what you're designed to do. You're going to have a bump, a hiccup here and there through the course of camp leading up to the season. You might get an injury or something to set you back. But if you started out in shape, you have a greater chance of meeting that day 1 deadline. Now, if he went to camp trying to get in shape, now you're in trouble. Now it's a way more serious issue. So the question should probably go to the training staff, not the training staff, the strength and conditioning coaches, and say, hey, did Deion show up in shape, ready to go? Because I know myself and Eric Mose, our goal each year when we came to camp, we were thinking about, we were in game shape in camp. Going to camp, we were in game shape. We were ready to play then. We didn't wait until go through camp, get in shape. That's for the 1970s, for when they used to go to camp for 6 weeks or 12 weeks or something like that. And have 2 days twice a day.
Ruben taking 1970s shots right now. I love it.
We used to walk uphill in the snow to school.
You had the 2 days. But you had the 2 days too. So if you showed up out of shape, you were getting crushed in camp.
That's right, 2 days.
You were getting done. You were going to get done if you showed up out of shape. And like I said, you're going to get a bump or bruise through the course of camp, because camp is rigorous and you might pull something or strain a muscle. That's to be expected. But if you go in and you're not in shape and that strain comes on, or that pull hamstring, that shoulder injury, now you're set back even further because you weren't in shape in the first place. So it's
one thing I can't contest to.
What's that?
one thing I can on Dion's behalf, he was training, he was working on the off season. It's just that this COVID-19 is just another monster, man. It shuts you down internally.
We're talking about being in. We're talking about being in shape here, Ruben. You look great right now. I gotta ask though. I'm a former lineman myself, so no shame coming right now. But is it true you used to get an entire pie during your playing days, give a piece to your kids, and then eat the entire rest of the pie by yourself?
And what kind of pie was it?
What was the go-to pie?
All right, a couple of things. Number one, I was about 350 pounds back then. All right, 350. So the pie in particular that you're talking about, I think that, it got blown up out of proportion and gone around. But the pie in question is actually the pies that Jamie Nails, if you guys remember him. Jamie
Oh, yes.
Nails, okay? Jamie Nails was 400 pounds.
Yes.
His mom was an excellent cook. And she used to come to town with these coconut custard pies.
Oh,
I literally paid her $100 a pie.
That's a steal.
Ensure that I got one of those pies. And yes, I would go home with a pie, and I'd cut my kids a piece and let them chow down on it, and the rest was mine. So, coconut custard from Jamie Nails' mom.
Word to A&M.
Yeah, definitely. She was an amazing cook, man. She put her foot in it. Jamie was 400 pounds, so you imagine his mom was an amazing cook. So
it was big man.
She was great.
That is an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I mean, you were giving your kids like $15 worth of pie, so you weren't shortchanging that at all.
My kids had the best. They had the best. They had the organic, top of the line. Another mother from the team that served up a lot of great dishes for us was Gabe Northern's mom. She was from Louisiana. Oh my goodness. She actually was a culinary teacher at the University of Louisiana, LSU. And she used to come in town and feed the team. I mean, literally feed the entire team. Ted Washington and I used to have bids on who was going to house her, because whoever housed her got the benefit from all the food she was cooking. Ted won that every time. Ted laid out major cash to have her spend the night and stay with her. But Gabe's mom and Jamie's mom and a lot of the moms on the team were great cooks for us as players, to keep the big guys big and fed and keep us incentivized to working hard.
Yeah, that sure beats the orange slices that my Evans Youth baseball team mom used to bring us. But
much love to her too. Do not disrespect.
I appreciate Mrs. Bona every day.
Shout out moms real quick.
Shout out soccer and baseball moms. Shout out the moms.
Shout out all the
moms.
But speaking of pie, a lot of receivers in this room, and Stephon Diggs is going to be looking to get enough of the pie and this offense to be the first receiver to be back-to-back wide receiving yards leader. And since I think Calvin Johnson did it, maybe Andre Johnson, one of those two, one of them. Does anybody think who would anyone bet on that? Think that he could be like the favorite to do it? Who's the biggest competition for him in the NFL? Mookie?
Nobody.
Nobody. Wow.
Nobody. Not going to be any competition. I'm telling you now, if all you fantasy football people out there, you better pick Diggs as number one, because he's going to end up number one in targets still. He's still going to end up number one in receiving yards. So he's going to duplicate the same season that he had last year. Josh is on a mission. His quest for 5,000 and, obviously to win it all, it comes along with that. And, Emmanuel Sanders is not going to, intervene in far as targets at all. Even from Cole Beasley's standpoint, he was almost at 100 catches last year. So that could easily happen. Again, for this year, you got two receivers to have over 100 catches on the same team this year. Look out for that.
I think the Bills going to have a very dangerous offense. And I was speaking to Muki last night. With all the great receiving weapons there are, I'm going to throw my offensive line hat in here. Those guys will be way more effective if they have a threatening run attack. Yes. Just imagine how many people the Diggs and the crew will get behind and beat those defenses deep if they have to come up and respect the run throughout the game. And it's an exciting time as I can possibly remember for thinking about a Buffalo Bills offense. And I can think back to the days that I was playing. I think we had to manufacture or try to, help the fans believe in us offensively, where now, I mean, it's on paper that you're excited about what's going on with this team. I mean, the offense, number one, just because Diggs may break the receiving record or whatever, doesn't mean that that's going to happen in all one game or 1 week. Some weeks there are going to be others that's going to step up. And for the first time, the Bills actually, other than Diggs, have other guys that can step up in key crucial times. Whereas if Diggs went down in the past, or the types of teams that the Bills had in the past, if the number one went down, or we were stuck, it was nothing. Now, if our one gets a little hammy and we got to look somewhere else, we got some heat. We could throw it around the yard. We could get it to our guys. So, back to where I said in the beginning, that what would help those guys, the receivers, reach their potential is a threatening run game, oddly enough.
Yeah, and that's obviously a big question mark going into this season for the Bills. I mean, Robyn, when you look at Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Matt Breida, this running back room, one, how confident you are, and two, who do you think is just the most talented out of the bunch? Because I was even in some Facebook groups arguing with some people over that earlier.
Yeah, that's a good question. The thing for Zach Moss is, can he stay on, can he get on the field and stay on the field? It concerns me a lot. He's missed a lot of time. Breida looked good, I thought, the other night versus Detroit. But Devin Singletary, I was impressed. He's put on some weight. He looked more explosive to me than he has in the past. And
breaking a lot of tackles.
And actually, I thought the run blocking was a bit better than I've seen in some time as well, and that's going to help. But Singletary looks like he's on a bender right now. He really wants to get it done.
That's going to be exciting to see, and I agree with you. If Moss can get on the field, he's as dangerous, and he can be what we thought or think he could be. But Singletary, yes, get these two guys involved in the game, really, for the team, the offensive team, to be successful. The offensive line is there. We got the size. We got the ability. And I spoke to Muki last night, even though we have the offensive firepower to throw the ball down the field and target our receivers deep, the offensive line, is actually big enough to, ball on a few teams. You don't have to have them one-on-one pass blocking all the time to have that offense be successful. I mean, you get those guys, get Singletary and Moss going, and, it makes it easier to throw the ball to the tight end or the H or the Y, the X and the Z. When the run game is threatening enough, now the first move Diggs makes, it might shake the guy out of socks.
You might do it anyways.
So, I'm excited about the Bills because they got an all-around team. All-around offense. They have the ability and talent, which I'll ask everyone on the panel, when was the last time you seen this?
I feel like a stout Bills passing attack feels like an oxymoron based on my entire life. So I don't get it.
Last time we did anything effective at Buffalo Bills, I think we brought Drew Bledsoe in, and that was the last like serious passing. What's that?
Flutie.
Who was that, Mook?
Oh, Flutie.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole lot of magic.
You were right, Ruben. Yeah, the Flutie magic. You were holding your breath every time he dropped back. It was.
I'm telling you, I was all in on the Flutie magic. Trust me.
I know you were leading the charge. Don't sleep on those 2002 Bills either. 6th most points in the AFC. That's all I'm saying. That's playoff quality from that offense.
There's some history, but it's great to see it back. And it's great to see it in Buffalo. We're ready for it. Everyone, I know all the fans are definitely ready for this thing to kick off. And I've liked what the coaching staff has said. One of my favorite things was when McDermott started the year off by saying, I'm paraphrasing and breaking it down, but he was like, we're all 0-0. Those wins last year, they're great. You know, it's something to build on, but you got to win those games this year. You know what I mean? You got to win them this year. And if they're confident and feel good, they can win way more games than they won last year.
They got an extra one to worry about now too, right? What's your opinion on the extra game?
You know, I think it's smart to, you know, use your talent wisely. Keep a healthy eye on the health of all the players. If a player seems a little tired or fatigued, make sure you get him enough rest if he's a starter. Because I worry about the wear and tear on the body as the season gets on. You want them to be as fresh as they can be going into the playoffs. So be careful of how much you play them and, you know, the amount of time that they're getting on the field, because it is physical. And this alludes to a little something that you guys were talking about, quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Listen, you need 2 quarterbacks in the NFL these days. You can't go into the NFL with 1 quarterback and say, Josh is going to put it on his shoulder and carry it all the way for us. No, let's not put that much pressure on him. Let him do what he needs to do when we need him to do it. If he needs a break, let's get one of these guys, maybe Trubisky.
Hey, from the only other team you ever played for in the NFL. I mean, like, were you following the Bears when Trubisky was over there? Yeah. So what do you make of his time there and maybe his comments of being somewhere where he's actually appreciated?
In Chicago, you can say nothing right. You get burned at the stake. You're just a bratwurst in Chicago. You know, so just roll with the punches. Anything you say is wrong. For him, I think there's enough talent in him for what we as the Bills need him for. You know what I mean? Josh has got the reins. Josh is going to take the team where it's going. But just like Jim Kelly needed Frank Wright for a game or 2, you know what I mean? I think Trubisky has enough of that ability. And we all know if the NFL doesn't see you a lot and you show up 1 week here and 1 week there, next thing you know, you'd have reeled off like 2 or 3 wins before they could catch up to you. And then you pull him out and Josh is back in. And I'm just making this speculation based on, and let's say Josh has a sore rib or something. He got hit and his rib is hurting. And all right, now we need another guy in. Now, the younger guys, I'm not that sure about. I don't know where they're standing. What's the kid from Georgia that you guys are talking about?
Jake Fromm.
Jake Fromm.
I don't know if he's going to make it on
Jake
the
Fromm,
team.
State Fromm.
But maybe the management is high on him, and you know. But I don't think they bring Trubisky in to let him go. Do you guys think so?
No, I mean, it'd have to be a ridiculous offer. Like, especially, the team that's been talked about the most is the Indianapolis Colts, and that's a direct competitor to the Bills. With Carson Wentz healthy, they could realistically, we're all okay. Sorry, preface this: Bills are going 17-0. But follow-up point, the Colts could be battling them and get ahead of them in the wild card race. If they don't get the number 1 seed, so that's a no-go for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
I
not even
wouldn't
close.
let him go at all. I wouldn't let him go. The guy was a former number 1. He wasn't a disgrace as a quarterback in Chicago. He had a lot of other issues other than just him at quarterback. I mean, they moved some coaches around and things. So that makes it difficult for a young player to develop sometimes. And also in the Chicago market, being the number 1 quarterback, oh, my God. Oh my God! They listen. Do you know in Chicago the last great quarterback is from the 1920s or 30s? His name was Sid
Jay Cutler. Oh.
No. You would think
Kyle Orton.
Oh man, I had to. That was a meatball.
Because I thought it was so weird. You look at all the other NFL team franchises, and you can kind of find a modern era quarterback that has had some success on their squad. Chicago, no, none. There's Sid Luckman. Sid Luckman must be the baddest quarterback that ever played football. To still his record still stand in Chicago. Nobody's touched him. So, I mean, Trubisky, I don't think had a whole everything behind him. Even though they moved up to get him and everything, I don't think the whole thing stayed behind him enough to develop him into the quarterback they need to be. And number 2 may be just the right spot for him. Mm-hmm. And the best spot for us.
Yup. You know what? The best spot for us is going to be Highmark Stadium, week 1 of the NFL season. I mean, it's been way too long. I mean, it's typical. It's absolutely my luck that the Bills are finally good in my lifetime, and I have to wait an extra whole year to see them. Obviously, more important things in the world. Joke, obviously. Okay. But, Dell, you're like, one of the biggest figureheads of Bills Mafia. Like, people got to be, like, banging on your front door. When are we going to see the Bills play?
Man, I am so excited. I'm excited for the 28th going to that preseason game. I cannot wait to get in that stadium. Like I'm actually looking normally preseason. We'll go. We'll bring the kids or whatever. It'll be fun. I'm hyped just to get in there, just to watch Marquez Stevenson and whomever else do whatever they're gonna do on the field. I don't care who, as long as they're wearing the colors, man. I cannot wait to get in that stadium, and I'm so excited.
I'll throw this out there, the type of excitement, and I'm fortunate to talk to a lot of people around the country, and a lot of people ask about Bills, and they ask about in general. Ruben, what's the loudest, or what was the best stadium? What was this? What was that? And I have to say, I played in Kansas City, and it's pretty raucous. It's really hard to play in Kansas City, but if you ever played football up in the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, I mean, good Lord, man. Oh, wow. Syracuse, when was the last time they were good? But that place would be rocking. So I know those places. And I also know places that the atmosphere around the arena is just as wild and raucous. You go to Wrigley Field. Oh, man, that whole thing's like a Mardi Gras out there before that game. And the only thing that tops it, and I tell everyone, I said, man, you have not seen anything until you've seen the home opener for the Buffalo Bills. It's insane. The Bills take it to another level. I can remember as a rookie, a young player, when they were allowed, this isn't allowed anymore, at least a week and a half prior to the game, RVs would be parked out. Lines of people asking for autographs going to Monday practices 2 weeks before the game. That's insane. I watched the whole Hammerlot thing and everything kind of developed into what is today Bills Mafia. And I saw those guys out there. You know what I mean? And they're out there in full force every week. But number one, that home opener, oh my God, the anticipation, the excitement, everything that builds up for that home opener. The only thing that tops it is an actual playoff game, which a lot of Bills fans have not seen in that stadium for a long time. I've been fortunate that I played in a home playoff game, yet even though we didn't win, but I played in one, and I know how the build-up is and the excitement that the Bills fans bring to the game and the whole week leading up to the game. So it's fitting that now the biggest, social thing that people know about the Bills fans is called the Bills Mafia. I mean, because that's really, kind of like how it is. It's a mafia. It's insane, man. It is insane. And I've seen it even before the smashing of the tables. I mean, there's a lot of guys that aren't here with us today that were a part of building this whole Bills fan persona that is the Bills Mafia today, but it's really the whole community. The stores get excited. The people at the bank are going crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody, 7-Eleven, you go to Tim Hortons, the guys, everybody's going crazy, getting ready for that season opener. So I'm excited, as you can tell.
Even I'm on Long Island. Preseason game.
This preseason game is going to probably break the attendance record.
Because I'm ready for them to play the regular season.
Yeah, but this preseason game is going to be like no other, though. It's the first actual home game that has been with 100% capacity in, I would say, 2 years.
Yeah.
This preseason game is not going to be your ordinary preseason game. I mean, this is going to be kids that first of all. So look for a record attendance on the 28th.
Honestly, maybe. I could.
Obligatory The Office reference. It's going to be like when Pam hung out with The Office the first time after she was pregnant. She was so excited to see Stanley. Everyone's going to be going nuts. You're going to be seeing the drum line. People are just going to be fist pumping. You're going to be seeing the ball get delivered on the field. People will be giving like standing ovations. I mean, it's going to be great. Muki, can you imagine if Josh Allen and Diggs just come out like 30 minutes pregame and are just firing missiles into the crowd? Aaron Rodgers is going to be so pissy on that other sideline. He's going to be
they're going to play
like
that game. That's the game Josh played. Josh and Steph Diggs are going to play that game, and you're going to probably see Aaron Rodgers as well with that game. So it's not going to be your ordinary preseason game. The starters will be playing that game, definitely.
It's going to be some hype on that one.
I know we got the hype from the roundtable. Sorry, Wake. I didn't mean to cut you off. Just because we might not have this group together again. Wake locked in his prediction of 17-0. I mean,
naturally,
we're gonna hold it to it.
Why not?
I'm gonna go with 14-3. Won't expand much more on it. 14-3 for my pick. Would love to hear your guys as well while we got everybody here. About 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out from the opener.
Well, when I look at the schedule and I go game by game trying to break it down, I go 14-3 too a lot of the time when I'm doing MereKat picks the Bills. But the 17 game schedule, already injuries and stuff lingering up. You got to account for that. You got to account for misfortune. I mean, there's games every year where we just get caught blindsided, like the Titans game last year. Obviously, some circumstances.
We don't mention the Titans word on this on Trainwreck Sports.
So I'm going to plant my flag at 13-4 next year. I want it to be 14-3, but I'm going to just take it with a little grain of salt there. 13-4.
All right.
Yeah, I'm right with
They'll be on
that analytical pick.
Who's next? Kevin.
I'm in.
I'm right
Me?
with him. I have 13-4. You know, I just think things happen. Like Ruben was talking about, it's going to be a battle of attrition, and you're going to need to get players rest. Trubisky's going to see the field at some point. I do feel that way. And I hope it's not in a major injury for him. I do think that the Bills took out an insurance policy, and that's what I call Mitchell Trubisky, because he's like insuring your home. I mean, it's just you want to be able to have a really good quarterback there. And that's what leads me to say maybe they do keep someone like Jake Fromm on the roster, just because I just think quarterback's that valuable in this league. So I have 13-4. You know, look at last year, the Bills played great football and still had a luck chuck that took a ridiculous D-Hop play. That I mean, he's a great player. I still don't think he makes that play more than a very, very small amount of time. So I got him at 13-4. He's a great receiver, but something like that is going to happen to the Bills this year. And it is what it is. You just get up and hopefully, like last year, you know, it was their Super Bowl. I mean, they're still tweeting about that play in Arizona. So, you know, for us, it was like we still won
with 34 seconds left.
Incomplete pass.
Yeah, I mean, so you're going to see something. Could you see something like that happen? Lose on a kick return, something along those lines. You know, it's possible. But for me, it's a matter of can they rebound from something like that happening in a 17-game season? And I think that this team can. And maybe it doesn't even matter. Like that play ended up mattering last year.
Yep. Del, what do you think? How do you have the Bills season going?
I don't know, 13-4, 14-3. Like, I'm calling my shot. Like, normally I'm, like, careful about this stuff on Twitter because I don't get, like, cold takes or what. I don't care. They're going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm just saying it. Like,
17-0, and I'm not allowed to say anything else.
Right? I mean, like, this is the year. This is the year, barring any kind of terrible thing that I'm not going to speak into existence with anything on the, you know, hurt body front. I don't even want to say the I word. So, like, barring anything like that, like, this is it. This is their shot. It's finally going to happen. This is the best roster that they've had since the early 90s. And if not now, then when? So, whatever the regular season record is, I don't care. I'm saying they're going to play the latest game played on the NFL schedule in mid-February or whatever it is now. They push it back to because they keep adding games. So, that's my shot. That's my prediction.
There you go.
Love that.
That's a good one. I'm going to say I went out on a limb last year and said that the Bills was going to go undefeated in the division. I won the Stephon Diggs jersey, by the way. You know, from that bet. You know, I'm going to say Coach McDermott, you know, they talked about, you know, having home field advantage. And the only way to have home field advantage is you got to beat Kansas City. You got to beat Tennessee. The Bills play those teams back to back. All right. I think they go out there and get the job done against those two teams. So after those two guys, you know, the competition kind of really, you know, fall off a little bit. So I'm going to say the Bills 15-2. They'll be the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. And like Dale said, they're going to take that thing all the way to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So 15-2, I'll say Buffalo Bills.
Man, Robyn, like godmother of Bills Mafia.
Godmother of Bills Mafia. I got probably like Dell, 13-4, maybe 14-3. I'm not big on making predictions and that sort of thing, but I'm with you guys as far as just feeling like it's the year. Mm-hmm. It's our year. And I'm not going to wish any negativity, you know, into any of it. And I'm going to enjoy. I'm trying to encourage people, take this one day at a time and enjoy every single moment of this season.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! This is a good vibes podcast. Good vibes podcast.
Seriously, because you know you don't get these opportunities very often. What's that?
What'd you say?
I said I told everybody at the outset that she's the wise one here. She's got the wisdom.
She keeps us grounded when we want to fly off the atmosphere.
She's got the good vibes. I'm talking about attrition. She's over here talking about the good vibes.
That's awesome.
It's a good balance.
But yeah, this is our year, and I really think that everybody should take a moment and savor every step along the way.
Definitely.
Because this is one that we'll probably remember for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And I love that we were saying the same thing last offseason too. And it's just up from here to the moon. Ruben, what are Oh, a lot of love for Robyn in the chat. Ruben, what's your schedule prediction for
I
the
love
Bills?
I love you, Robyn, for that. I always tried to pass that sentiment on to the fans whenever, while I was playing, I would get a lot of fans come up to me and they're like, oh, you win more games, or, you got a holding call or something like that. I'm like, hey, man, I grew up in Piney River, Virginia. We didn't have a football team where we grew up. I cheered for the Dallas Cowboys and I lived in Virginia. Imagine how hard that was to do. So I didn't have a local team or a team that I, expressed our identity through. You're in Buffalo. You live in Buffalo. You got a team in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Enjoy it. Love it. And finally, things have swung back in our favor where, a lot of people are going to be talking about Buffalo, and good. It's about time because there's a lot of good in Buffalo. And I think as far as predictions, I don't like to make predictions, but I was telling Muki last night, every year, if you look at my old tweets on Twitter, I always post at the beginning of the season. I usually wait to the first regular season game. And ever since I'm retired, I predict Buffalo Bills, Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
All right.
Wow.
Get a Super Bowl Saturday, huh?
And just so everyone is like, oh, I pick my favorites. And I do it like this. Even in basketball, every year the Sixers are going to the championship, okay? I know that they've had their ups and downs, but I'm rooting for my team. Buffalo's my team. Chicago's my team. And I want to see them both in the Super Bowl. And this is the first year of me making that type of prediction, just simply on the fact that I love both of those teams. One of them is more than likely going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We know
and that's the Bills. And the Bills will be in there if you want to look at numbers like, how many games will they win and whatever. They have to improve on their win streak from last year. Last year, what did they have, a 9-game win streak or more?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
9-game win streak.
We're not going to talk about it. Not going to say good vibes only.
If you look at the history of the teams that have gone into the Super Bowl, they've had a lot of streaks. No one fumbles their way into the Super Bowl. I had 5 wins, 2 wins, 3 wins. No, the teams that end up in the Super Bowl, they ripped off 9, 10 wins in a row, maybe lost one, and then got back to work. And I think that's the type of team the Bills are. In order for them to be in the Super Bowl, they obviously can't lose more than 4 games. That's it. They can't lose more than 4 games. And that's the way I look at it for them for the season. And if they improve on that 9-game win streak, I feel way more confident that they'll end up in the Super Bowl, which they rightfully deserve. I believe that, man. I want to play the Super Bowl today.
Bills,
but
you get it Saturday.
We gotta hope everyone stays healthy. The 17-game season is not, this is a new thing here. We have to be cautious. We really have to be diligent with the physical well-being of all of these players. And obviously, COVID's going to play a factor in this. We don't know when that's going to pop up, or it could pop up. It's just as dangerous as going out and play the game, because a guy could twist his ankle, pull a hamstring, or show up on Monday and have COVID. You don't know. And we got to be very cautious about that. But healthy, Bills in the Super Bowl.
Healthy Bills are in the Super Bowl. We're all dancing. I said 17-0. I'm going to stick by it, I guess. I mean, why not? We lose to Washington week 2. I'm going to hate everything.
Ryan Fitzpatrick revenge game.
I warn you, Washington is a tricky get. Should win games are just probably way more dangerous than going in and playing like Kansas City or Tennessee. Those, I know the guys are up, they're ready to go, whatever. But teams like Washington
defense
has a tricky coach down there. And that coach knows McDermott pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, and when coaches know each other, there's little things that they can figure out and inspire maybe a not so successful team to one win. And in the NFL, anyone can beat anyone at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone at any time. And I could attest to that because we should have won the damn Super Bowl against the Colts. The Colts did not play well enough to.
Wow, Ruben is blasting everybody. He's blasting the Bears quarterbacks, the 70s. By the way, NFL can win at any time. The only other game like that, Mario Kart. Let's go.
So be careful about the Washington dead guys, you know, because things can happen. They got a coach. Ron Rivera knows McDermott. They've worked together. And Ron Rivera is a pretty savvy defensive coach, so he could be effective doing some things. But I expect the Bills to win, you know what I mean? And I'm sure McDermott is stressing that factor to all the team week in and week out. Like, hey, we expect you to win, but just rolling your helmet out on the field and say, hey, we won X amount of games last year ain't going to cut it. You know, you're going to have to actually get physical, get dirty, get bloody, you know, get tired and exhausted in order to win the game.
Go out and battle with Chase Young, too. That's a battle.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be interesting. You know, it's a lot of
we don't got Bobby Hart and Chase Young out there one-on-one. We'll be all right, right?
Oh, you had to bring up the Bobby Hart name?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no, Ruben.
Bobby Hart. Muki, where you going with that? Look at him.
Next week.
Look at him. Look at him.
Oh, my God.
Cut.
He's not even letting them get the scissors.
Don't
He's
do
giving
it again
him
this week,
with a knife.
I pulled this out of my Maniac playbook right here. I pulled this out of my Maniac.
What do you know about my friend that I don't?
There's nothing.
Don't do it this week, Bobby Hart. All right?
Man, well, guys, this has been an absolute blast. We're coming up. We're past the hour mark now, and we're going to go much past that. But you know what? I hope that this group of 8 people we're all back together at some point in the regular season, postseason maybe. Honestly, obviously, have to thank all my guys at Trainwreck Sports: Kevin, MereKat, Maniac, Del Reed, of course, 26 Shirts, Bills Mafia founder, Robyn Mundy, editor-in-chief, Buffalo FAMBase, Muki Hawkins, 96.5 FM, 1080 AM. Ruben Brown, man, your stories were absolutely electric, and I would love to chat with you again before the season's over. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Ruben is going to be on the FAMBase network. You know, he's going to do post game every Sunday, and he's going to be on Thursdays as well. So, you know, we got that great lineup, you know, coming real soon, man. And this is the inauguration of it, man.
Ruben and Robyn is a sitcom.
You'll get to interact more with me, and I'd love to get with all of you guys again, too. It's been a blast.
Appreciate that, man. The kind words mean a lot. And, of course, this is the end of the first edition of the Folding Roundtable. We'll be back next Thursday, same time, 8 p.m. on all Trainwreck Sports channels and Buffalo FAMBase channels as well. Bobby Hart, however, may not be with us, according to Muki.
Muki, you're giving him a dog knife to cut him with.
The intro didn't work at the beginning, so we're going to use it as an outro instead. Hopefully it works this time. If not, I'll just get embarrassed maybe 3 times during the show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Trainwreck Sports and the FAMBase. Good night now.
It's still preseason. Wait, we can afford to have mishaps, okay?
Buffalo, stand up. It's the mafia. It's a Bill City. Yeah. A Buffalo Bill City. Yo. It's a Bill City. Yeah. A Buffalo Bill City. Yo, we got Josh Allen, got Steph Diggs, we got Cole. Deion Dawkins, cause you know it's about to snow. Mafia, you know we on a roll. No competition and it's not even close.